Good morning, people. Yeah, welcome back to the show. This is episode 523 of the Two Dumb Yinzers. How you guys doing today?
Oh, I'm doing great, man. Fired up, ready to go.
Therapy, how you doing, man?
Doing great. One day till opening day.
Yeah, for sure. Um, Before we get started, Puff Daddy's on the run, Mike. Or P.
Yeah, I
Diddy,
saw that.
or
Famous.
Diddy, or whatever he goes by now. You've been hearing a lot about this, especially with Epstein's list that people have been talking a lot about lately, and exposing the list and seeing who's on this list of the perverts that visited Epstein's island. This is wild, and because Puff Daddy's a huge name,
Yeah.
you know, and this got to make you think that they're going after these guys now. They're going after the pervs, which makes you think, geez, who's it gonna be next? Because Puff Daddy, I mean, that's a huge name. It isn't like they went after some director that some
Yeah.
most people never heard of. And then Puff Daddy's on the run. I mean, this could get really interesting this year, guys.
Yeah, they got him for sex trafficking and all this stuff. Whew.
My man got a tunnel going from his house like underneath the fucking ocean to like a weirdo island. He got some kind of weird shit going on. Like it's not looking good for Puff Daddy.
No, it's not. It's like you're I don't get it. I don't get these people who do stuff like this.
It's so weird that they all do it. Like it's almost like if you're gonna be famous, you got to do these kind of things. That way, we have something against you. Because you got to figure the price of fame has got to be very high. Otherwise, wouldn't we all be famous? Wouldn't everybody be making the big dollars? It almost seems like, the fact that so many of these rich, famous people resort to this weird pedophilia, and they all go to these islands with these weirdos, and it almost seems like there's something to them. Like otherwise, why? All these people can't be.
It's not
Can't,
all these people. It's just
do you
his
see the
was
size of
what.
Epstein's list, Mike?
No, I haven't. No,
It's a
because
long list.
it's because the real list hasn't been released. They have all these fake ones out there with names on there that
You
just
think
make
there's
you
only a
laugh.
couple names on this list, Mike, or do you think that there's
No,
probably a lot?
well, it's probably a
That's
lot,
what I'm saying. I'm not talking about
but
everybody, of course. I'm
yeah,
talking
but
about
like and P Diddy, his what sex trafficking, and it's not associated with the Epstein thing. But my God, P Diddy, what do you want? You're rich and famous. Why do you got to go and do this and try and be like a
so
big
many
pimp?
people, Mike, are on
It,
this
it,
in this conversation, and it's unbelievable.
I just don't get these people.
I don't get it
I
either,
don't get it.
man.
Like if I was like rich and famous, I would just be,
I'd be
chilling.
in, I'd be doing chicks all the time. I don't get what this thing is with the little boys and the kids all of a sudden with these people. And
Well,
I'm sure
PDD wasn't anything dealing with minors. It was like what women and men
we
he was
don't know.
sex trafficking.
We have
That's
no
what I
idea.
saw. That's what I read. I didn't read anything about kids with P Diddy.
I mean, this literally has only been going on for 2 days, and they haven't found him yet. So, and they obviously they're not going to release, the important shit just yet, anyway.
Yeah, they've raided what 3 of his properties,
Yeah. So who
and then
knows?
he
Who
was like on
knows?
a plane flying somewhere.
I mean, if you're going to say sex trafficking with women is worse than with kids,
I didn't say it
I
was
think you got to
worse.
kind
I
of
just want to
you got to
get
kind
it
of throw
right.
it.
I'm just trying to be accurate.
Well, we don't know that yet. It's all up for
Well, I'm just
speculation.
saying.
Nope, nobody knows the facts right now. And what I'm saying is to be involved in that kind of thing, it's weird, no
Yeah,
matter if it's kids or if
into
it's
either one is bad. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So uh let's talk about something less stressful, guys. Let's talk about the Steelers.
Yes, sir.
The Pittsburgh Steelers, they did something yesterday. Brian on the board. Good morning, Brian says he has an
It's an alibi.
alibi.
That's what they all say, Brian. That's what they all say.
um, so what they did yesterday, guys, they kind of shored up more
Mm-hmm.
special teams, which I think
Yeah.
is an awesome thing because they did that earlier this offseason. They went and signed the new punter, which I think was necessary. They re-signed Miles Killebrew, who is their all-pro
Yeah.
Pro Bowl special teams player. And yesterday they signed all-pro return man. Is his name Cordarrelle?
I always mispronounce his name.
I always say Cordell Patterson.
I always want to say Quadrella or Quadrella. I'm probably butchering it. I just know it's Patterson.
Isn't that a chocolate?
I don't know. I'm terrible at
Um,
like at pronouncing names.
So he's a running back wide receiver from Atlanta. We signed him to a 2-year deal, $6 million. And he's in fact one of the greatest guys, one of the greatest kickoff specialists of all time. At 33 years old, Mike, he has nine kickoff returns for touchdowns, which is the most. So if this guy at 33 years old could come here and bring the ball out for us every time it gets kicked off, even if he's not what he was at 24, I know we did this last year with Patrick Peterson, and we're let's kick the tires on this guy, see if he still got it, and he didn't. But they're trying.
I like this. I like this signing. It was a smart move because like you said, the kickoff was being more or less reintroduced back into the NFL. He's number one all time, and he's not coming in like Patrick Pete. Like we're not relying on him to fill a key every down role. He's going to be running back number 3, kick return number 1. That's the perfect role for him. Use him sparingly in the offense. Have a couple plays designed for him here and there to where you can get him out, line him up as running back, put him out in the pass patterns. Have him run some routes where he lines up against the linebacker where he has the advantage. It's just a smart signing. He's had his best years down in Atlanta under Arthur Smith. So I
love
like
how
this.
everything comes back to Arthur Smith. If it would go on that logic, we would be all Texans and Falcons at this point.
No, well, I just think
everything that's ever been said about him was like, well, look what he did in Tennessee. Look what he did.
No, I'm just saying it was just I
Titans,
don't know if it's coincidence or not. But his biggest offensive productions were with him in that system down there. But
people were ready to make Ryan Tannehill our starter before.
Oh God, no! Hell no! That would happen.
We made our big quarterback moves.
I'd be you would see me on a Cleveland Brown podcast being a Browns fan if that would happen.
Oh hell no! Oh, that's disgusting.
I'd tear up all my Steelers stuff.
That's almost as bad as Puff Daddy. I got to tell you, I'd be more willing to say that I did what Puff Daddy did than say that I'm a Browns fan. I got to be honest with you.
I think you might actually be right. Well, wouldn't that be one and the same though? You're like Puffy, and then you're supporting Deshaun Watson at the same time.
I'm not against the
happy lateral move.
I'm not against the happy endings. I got to tell you. These guys that go to these massage parlors, I'm actually a fan of this, and I think.
Oh, you're a fan of the sexual assault of the.
Not the assault, but you got to know that there are a lot of these massage parlors that they do have a happy ending for additional.
You have to make sure you're at that one,
right?
And then you pay for it, and you don't force that.
Oh well, of course that's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about forced sex, Mike. I'm talking.
Oh, okay. I got confused for a second. I've had like 4 cups of coffee. I'm wired.
And this guy I was watching this interview on the radio where he went to one of these. And he didn't know. He was unaware if it was one of these happy ending massage parlors. And he gets in there. Well, it was a deep tissue massage, is what it was. It was what it was billed as. And he's like, he said they make him get naked. He laid down on the massage table, and then the girl started like getting like they do the normal massage like the legs and the arms, and then she started like really grinding into his taint, I guess, with her fingers. And she's pushing and massaging a deep tissue massage into his taint. And he said that her hand kept touching his balls. So when it was almost done, she had him turn over onto his back. And she asked him, she goes, have you ever heard anything about this place before? And he says, no, not really. And she says, well, for, an additional 75 on top of the 125 that you pay just to walk through the door, we can finish it for you.
Mm-hmm.
And he did. And he did this, and he said that she lathered him up, like almost like when you're getting a shower and you lather. Yeah. He said she lathered his junk up, and he said within 30 seconds he was done. I mean, it was like unbelievable, I guess. So if you find the right ones, I'm not against it at all. I got to be honest with you.
No. If that's what it's advertised as, go to the place. And
that's the thing,
what happens between 2 consenting adults?
And you can't actually hang on the door. This is what goes on. You know what I mean? So it's a tricky business. Yeah, and I'm on board.
Yeah, like you see like that massage parlor that's out and like just in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
You know what's going on there.
Yeah. That would be that's what you would think. You'd go there and then it wouldn't be
it would be like a very professional, very like
and they'd be real weird with you. Happy ending? What happy ending?
What the hell are you talking about? No, this is then the one right down on Main Street. That would be the one.
Yeah. the one that you would see like young girls walking in during the day, and you wouldn't think twice that it would be
Yeah, you would think nothing of it, and that would be the sketchy one.
right.
But that's the way to do it. Commit your crimes right out in public in front of everyone.
That's what I do. When I commit crimes, I do it in front of everybody.
You do it. You just do it out there and just act casual, and people are like, oh, okay, I guess he's supposed to do that.
That's right.
But no, Patterson. I like the signing. A smart signing, and apparently they had this in the works because they kind of had a feeling that the new kickoff return policy was gonna pass, so they were ready to go once it passed to make this signing. It was well done, forethought by Omar Khan, planning ahead like this. I love it. This is something we never would have seen under Kevin Colbert.
And then real quick on the board, I do want to say good morning to Ron. I also want to say, and as far as what Brian had to say, he was at the radio station with me during the allegations. He did leave for 30 seconds to run to the bathroom, and I can't confirm.
That's enough time to call P. Diddy.
I can't confirm that he didn't do anything wrong in that 30 seconds because I did not follow him to the bathroom. So I'm a little suspicious of that, Brian. But you know what?
That's enough time to find out when his flight out of the country is.
That's right. And he had underground tunnels. That saves a lot of time.
Jesus.
Mm.
If I had all that money, I would just like live by myself and just not tell anyone. I just want to be left alone because everyone would try to take your money.
I know. I'd be doing cool shit. Like this guy's insane. I mean, with all the money they have, and this is the shit they get into.
Well, I'd be building like big robots and having them fight each other.
I think that's what they do. These rich people do. This is like, this is. I don't know. I don't know.
All throughout history, they all do weird stuff. Rich and powerful people do weird shit.
I want to talk about this NFL hybrid kickoff model for a second, guys. NFL owners voted to approve the new kickoff rule. Here's what a version will look like. Basically, you're going to have both teams lining up 5 yards away from one another. One team will be at their own 30, between their 30 and 35. The other team will be between the 40 and 45. There's going to be 5 yards between them. Behind the receiving team's line, between the 20 and the goal line is the landing zone. And the kicker all by himself is way back at his own 35-yard line. So the kicker kicks the ball. He has to kick it in the landing zone. If he kicks it anywhere besides the landing zone, there's a penalty. So the ball gets kicked off from the 35. The two lines of guys of 20 people, 10 on each line, stand still until the ball drops and gets caught in the landing zone by the receiving team's player. At that point, the two teams could then activate and start the kickoff team's approaching the ball, and the receiving team starts to try to block them and defend and block for their guy. I got to be honest, I'm excited. I'm not. I mean, it's a debate. You could go on and on about if you really thought anything was wrong with the old way, if you really thought that more people were getting injured on the kickoff. I mean, that's really a debate that could go on and on. But as far as this goes, I'm not upset about it. And I'm kind of interested to see how it goes. I keep seeing, they obviously show a lot of highlights of this particular style, this model being used in the XFL.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? It seems somewhat successful. You could, teams break it and score, teams defend it, and looks like Mike kind of sort of has something there on his
I got the video up here. This is how it would look. This is like the best one I could find right here. It's a kicker, offense or defense, offense. Yeah, it has to land inside this area right here. You can only have two returners back there.
So it's going to be interesting. Derpy, you're not a big fan of this, are you?
I'm not a fan, but it could be fun.
Right.
We watched the XFL, and this is the model they used. I thought it was well done. It's going to be different. We're going to take a little bit to get used to, but it's going to bring back, kick returns. It's not going to be a touchback fest anymore.
I'm a fan of that. I want kickoff return just because it's part of the game, and the fact that you resort not to return, as that is regular kickoff is a part of the game, and the fact that a lot of people, most teams, choose to not return most of the time, I think that takes away from the sport of football because it's the rule. It's what the kickoff return is.
Yeah.
Whether you like it or not, whether you think you're going to get injured, whatever the case may be. it's part of the game and you're just refusing to do it and be, partaking it. I like this. Let's take a look. They're going to give us an opportunity to check it out and let's see if we like it. And who knows,
Yeah.
people might end up loving it.
And one thing I like about this too, like all the special teams coaches throughout the league got together, and they're the one. They saw what the XFL did. They looked at it. They all worked on it together to make come up with some of the final rules for the NFL, and then they submitted it. It wasn't done by a committee of people who never played or coached the game.
Right.
And these guys are doing this day in, day out. This is their job, and that's why I'm a big proponent of this. It was actually done by people who inside the game with inside knowledge.
Now I'm glad that you brought that up, Mike. It was an excellent segue. Excellent.
That's why I'm here. They call me Mr. Segway.
The hybrid kickoff and then the hip drop tackle, which is the other big rule adjustment that they made. And one thing that I'm seeing is a lot of defensive people are really not too thrilled with this because you really aren't given much space to tackle anybody. You're not allowed to tackle high because of the head. You're not allowed to tackle by the hips, which was exactly how we were taught how to tackle when we were in football as kids. You go after the hips, you wrap up, you drop down around the, and you pull down. Patrick Queen, he even went on to say that NFL, the football itself is probably going to be illegal in 15 years. Along with a lot of other defensive players that have the same opinion. I'm sure the offense, at the end of the day, I don't know if they're too thrilled either because now their knees and legs are a prime target. So who wins in this rule change, Mike?
Again, the offense. It's all about the offense. They're making it harder for
when they all get blown out knees now. I mean, I didn't think these hip injuries were excessive to the point.
No, and they're trying to say you can still tackle by the hips, but you can't drop your weight and swing around. Like that's how you're going to be jumping on Derrick Henry's back, and he's going to carry you 50 yards down the field. You have to be able to grab him by the hip and drop your weight to the ground. Will Compton said, he was an ex-linebacker, and on his podcast, he was like you're doing this at full speed. You think you're going in for a good form tackle, and the guy, makes that slight move on you, going at full speed. What are you going to do? You have to lunge and grab him,
right?
Pull your weight down. You're not doing it intentionally, thinking, "Oh, I'm just going to grab him by the waist, and drop my hips." No, it's like these things happen, boom, boom, boom. You're not thinking about hurting these guys, and you're thinking about stopping them from gaining an extra yard.
If this was going on in the accounting department, yes, I would see a big problem.
Don't they sign waivers before they play the game?
I'm sure they sign all kinds of shit.
They know,
and they're making this game softer and softer.
But the fact that it's going on in football, I think, is where the problem lies. Again, as Mike said, these guys are very fast. They're very shifty. They're very elusive. That's what they train to be this way. And you're really, 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 again, I think this is all part of cutting down the defense, making an offensive league. You can't tackle 90% of their body. Of course, the offenses are going to do better. Because you've got these guys that you're making a split decision. You're making it, like that, and it could be a 15-yard penalty if it's just just the way your body falls as you're grabbing a guy, as you said. So,
and that's what it's going to be too. It's going to be a judgment call by the official. That's one thing they need more of. It's more judgment calls.
Right.
Because, like you said, you can still wrap them up, you can still drop your weight, but you can't swing around.
They're just protecting Mahomes.
Yeah, and
just like they protect the Brady.
This does enough. How is this protecting Mahomes? He's not a big time scrambling runner.
Making the league softer.
Yeah, it is. But the only thing that they, like we said before, is headshots. Take that out the game. Make every other hit should be fine. And I do agree with diving at the quarterback's knees. You can, above the knee, fine. Below the knee, I can understand that. But what about offensive linemen being able to still chop block guys? You can take out a defender's knee, that's fine, but you can't take out an offensive player's knees now. That's
makes me think of the old Colosseum, the days of the Roman Colosseum, and they sent two guys out there to kill one another. They're like, okay, fight, but wait, you can't stab each other in the chest with you're setting them out to kill each other. Right. Crying out loud. Let them battle it out. Let them duke it out. And as I said, there's enough money to give you incentive in the NFL to continue to do what you've done your whole life. It isn't like they're They're making these drastic changes, and he's got. Come on, it's crazy. It's crazy, guys. I'm looking forward to the kickoff. I want to see the hybrid kickoff. I want to see how that plays out. But the hip drop tackle, I'm not a big fan of. So we'll see how that plays out.
I do like how they got rid of the.
It's going to hurt us. You know, it's going to affect us. We're going to be in a big game, and it's going to happen, and we're going to hate it.
Yep. I'm glad they got rid of the horse collar tackle. To me, that one was more severe.
Hey, you can't horse collar. I mean, come on, that's a weird. You can't
grab somebody by the horse collar. The horse collar one, that's more of an abrupt.
Right. That's for safety.
Yeah, that's
somebody by their top.
This is right here is just a couple tackles here and there throughout the year get blown way out of proportion.
Right.
Might as well just call it flag football by now.
It's gonna be Derby. Don't you worry. It's gonna look like the All-Pro game in 10 years.
Right.
Hope you like the All-Pro game. Talk about new additions, Mike, with Cordarrelle Patterson. I also want to bring up real quick, guys.
C. Patterson. I call him CP.
Yeah, he's CP. He's C. Patterson from now on. Quez Watkins. I want to talk about Quez for a minute, guys. Quez, the receiver brought in from Philadelphia. Listen to this, guys. I'm going to give you some pros and cons to Quez. If you're wondering what your new wide receiver, anything about him, Quez Watkins was one of the NFL's top big play receivers.
Oh.
He had 6 catches of at least 40 yards from his rookie year to the middle of 2022 with a once promising career. But it collapsed in a flurry of costly fumbles and drops. So from what I've seen, we haven't really upgraded it wide receiver. We almost downgraded in a way. Mike, do you believe we're going to get a wide receiver?
Yeah.
And if we don't, are you concerned about this particular signing?
If we don't get a receiver, I'm concerned about the trade of Deontay Johnson, because all these signings right now are number 3s, number 4s.
Yeah.
And it has to be addressed in the draft now, whether that's second round, third round. First round has to be either tackle or center. And you're going to have to get a receiver at least in the second round, because there's outside of Tyler Boyd, there's no one really out there who can really step in and be a number 2. Boyd, he's been more or less a number 3 for the most part down there, but for a short while, he was a number 2. Number 2.
He was a number 2 all the way till Jamar Chase got there.
Yeah. I think he was more effective down there as a number 3, but he's still a damn effective receiver. I wouldn't mind him and George, and then those other guys fighting out for that 3rd spot.
I got to disagree a bit, because he was very very productive as a 2. By the way the system went with Chase and then T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd almost got forced into that 3 role.
Yeah.
So basically, we have his team, a wide receiver room full of number 3s right now, Mike. Why don't we just pull one over on Chicago and take their number 1 pick?
Just work on work your magic. But we definitely need a receiver, and I have a feeling it's going to be. I have a feeling it's going to be addressed via the draft, because then this team, man, they have a way of finding wide receivers in the draft, but hopefully you got to get a guy who can come in and be ready to go.
And as we did that,
week 1,
as we were able to find these receivers, we always had a decent cast in place.
Yeah.
When we brought to, Hines Ward was there when we brought in Santonio. We're going into a season where, George Pickens can have a great season, but again, he's still kind of up in the air. It's going to be interesting to see what we get with George Pickens over the next couple of seasons. Now, especially because the Steelers, quote unquote, sent this message to him by the releasing of Deontay, or the trade, or however you want to say it. So it's going to be interesting, Mike, but they got to address this. And I think they will. And here's the thing too, if you want to go and get that receiver early, as we kind of tongue in cheek mentioned in the other, last show, as Derpy says, mentioning Marvin Harrison. One thing I found out about Zach Frazier, who you'd probably end up getting at center if that happens, which again, it's still pretty far out there, but I think if that does happen and you got to go after Zach Frazier, out at West Virginia, the center, I heard that he has T-Rex arms. He has the smallest arms amongst all the centers in the draft. And you got to have that, when you're dropping back, you always remember seeing Mike Webster, and you got to have a wingspan. You're more of a guard if you don't have the wingspan. A center needs that wingspan because they work both ways. Where the guard is, you see more, the guys with the shorter arms. Zach, so does that concern you at all, Mike?
No, because to like paraphrase New England's old offensive line coach when they won all those Super Bowls, that shit don't matter. Only thing that matters is if you can play. And Casey Hampton, everyone said that was going to be a problem for him. Short arms. How is he going to fight off all these linemen? He was one of the best nose tackles, 3-4 defensive nose tackles of his generation.
Right.
And he had short arms. So you got
something that will be talked about.
You have the ability.
As everything, once they break these guys down and they start, you start peeling back the layers. We heard about Kenny's little hands for the longest time. You got to consider that again. A center has to have a wingspan. It's you just have to.
If you can
so I hope we get our guy.
Play with sound technique, you can overcome short
but
arms.
You need physical, the physical attributes certainly go a long way as well, especially when you're competing against top linebackers and nose tackles in the league.
Yeah, and he was don't forget too, he comes from that amateur wrestling background too in high school and in college. So
which will do nothing for you in the pro football league.
No, it's strength, agility.
Because Goldberg and Brock Lesnar.
Well, those guys were better wrestlers than football players. Zach Frazier is a starter.
What I'm saying though, you've seen how their abilities in wrestling help them be, good football players. It didn't at all.
Well, that's you're comparing apples to oranges here.
No, I'm literally comparing the two things that you're talking about.
I know. As soon as that word come out of my mouth, I'm like, God damn it, I boxed myself into a corner here.
It's all good. We're gonna move on anyway, Mike. Justin Fields, I want to talk about Fields for a moment. You know what? Let me talk about Russell Wilson, and I'll let it bleed into Justin Fields.
All right.
Russell Wilson's career stats versus the AFC North, who will be playing against 6 times this season. Russell Wilson's career stats versus the AFC North. He has a 7-3 record overall. He has a 68.06 completion percentage, 23 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and a 118 passing rating. Mike, your new starting quarterback against the division that you're in, and you will play 6 times through this 17-game season. Those got to be encouraging numbers, Mike, because sometimes you just play well against certain teams. Sometimes you just play well against certain divisions.
Yeah.
It looks like he plays well against this division. And as far as I remember, I don't remember Russell Wilson beating us. I don't remember that.
I can't remember either. Look at Ben dominated the AFC North, but for some other reason, when we played Philly, we just couldn't beat them. Like you said, there's certain teams, certain divisions you play, you can whoop their asses. So that's a good sign right there. Someone who knows going into these stadiums, like, okay, I've been here, I've done that before. It's not going to scare me. Oh, I've seen this logo before. I beat them. It's not going to scare me. Because, how it is. Like when Pittsburgh was dominant, people would see that logo would be scared. People would see that Ravens logo when Ray Lewis would be scared. Russ is like, no, I've been there, done that. These teams don't scare me. These stadiums don't scare me. I've won there.
Yeah,
and that psychological factor is huge.
That's why I do like Russell Wilson. He is a been there, done that kind of guy. And I like it because he's been there, done that, and he's won Super Bowls and he's done great things. And it isn't just well, he did this good and this was okay. But we got a Super Bowl winning quarterback. I'm happy with that. He's been working hard. I'm seeing ample videos of him online with his Steeler gear on, doing workouts with his medicine balls and his workouts. My concern, Mike, is where's Justin Fields if you're trying to create a rapport with the Pittsburgh fan base, with Pittsburgh management. Why is there no video of Justin Fields showing up anywhere in an off-season workout? Which, even if he's not doing, maybe he's taking a little time off. Don't you think it would be a good idea to get some kind of video out there? Because the guy that you're kind of sort of in a competition with has he's putting videos out every day. He's wearing Steelers gear. He looks excited. He looks amped and ready to go. Mike, do you think at some point it's going to be important for Justin Fields to maybe kind of do something like what Russell Wilson's doing for just for PR reasons?
Like for PR reason with the fans, probably.
The fans are kind of a big thing.
Yeah, but like if anyone thinks like if they're not seeing videos of these guys, they're not working out. Come on now. These guys stay in shape year round. So he's working out. We saw those videos of Kenny working out. We saw the results of that. So Russell Wilson did these same videos in Denver, and kind of saw how that played out too there.
I mean, there's
So
apples and oranges because one hand you're talking about Kenny, who has a winning percentage, and if you look at these two quarterbacks, they didn't the past couple years coming. So I mean, but I think Mike, just for the sake of saying, hey guys, I'm your quarterback of the future. Maybe, just maybe, I want to look a little bit more excited and I more serviceable to you, because again, at the end of the day, the people that fill that stadium are going to be the guys that pay his, that pay his paycheck. So again, I think for PR reasons, like again, he probably is working out every day. He's probably doing great, but I think Russell Wilson, he's playing that card to a T. I think he's been there, done that. He knows how to play the game. He knows how to play the system. I think what Russell Wilson's doing with these workout videos is a smart thing, and I think it's going to get people excited about Russell Wilson running out onto that field on Sundays come football season.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what he's going to do. Like, more excited to see what Justin Fields going to do at training camp.
Yeah,
and in the preseason, that's what I'm excited to see there.
But if he works out more now, maybe he'll be more successful in training camp. Is what I'm saying.
Probably, just because he's not filming it and posting it doesn't mean he's not working.
Or maybe he's not. It doesn't mean that he is either.
Or Russ can, do a couple of reps with his.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's all about PR.
It's all about perception. Perception
you
is
have
reality.
You have to make the fans happy. Otherwise, they're going to boo. They're going to chase you out of town. And you know what? I can't imagine that kind of thing would happen here in Pittsburgh. But
No, we've never booed anyone out of this stadium or town, or a 4-time Super Bowl winning quarterback. No, we never booed someone like that.
Right.
We never booed Balto, Stanley Cup winners out of town before.
Speaking of people leaving town, the Steelers are open to bringing back cornerback Patrick Peterson. Like, if they don't make any more splash plays in the defensive backfield or any plays that have any significance basically to what's going on, I think Patrick Peterson has a very good job of coming back next year. They cut a bunch of guys to free up money. They made some big moves. They got some guys they want. We know we got to get in the draft.
Yeah.
I think Patrick Peterson, I think there's a very good chance that he comes back at some role in our secondary this coming season. What do you think about Patrick Peterson?
I would prefer Eric Rowe come back.
He's
over Pat Pete.
Very interested in coming back as well.
I am. If we can't get it to work with Eric Rowe and we can get Pat Pete cheaper, like I said, as a backup safety, maybe as a backup, even a backup slot corner, I'll take that. I'll be okay with it because you're not counting on him to be that every down guy. Because now we got Porter, we got Dante Jackson. So him in there lower in the mix, it would be better. Less would be more now for Pat Pete. I'm still looking for a corner taken in the top 3 rounds that could produce as well. So less was more with Pat Pete.
There's the dire positions that we need, though. It makes you think, that if you do go that route, it's probably going to be a corner 3 or beyond, round 3 or beyond, because you need your center. And whatever they plan on doing, if they plan on shifting guys around and skimping in the draft and not taking a tackle, so I mean, you just don't know what move they're going to make. But I think our secondary is pretty, at this point, I can't imagine
it's solid.
This is what they're going to go with. I mean, you do have Corey Trice coming back. I'm very interested to see what Corey Trice Jr. could add to the line. I mean, if he could come back and play an effective game and be somewhat productive, that's huge. But I do believe you have to address these offensive issues. We have so much invested in this defense, so much time, so much money. You got to fix this offensive line. You got to get this receiver thing figured out. If not, these are going to be big holes in your lineup, and you're going to hear it all year because we didn't fix these problems.
Especially with we have the highest paid defense and the lowest paid offense,
right,
in the league. So you have to start addressing the offensive side of the ball. And if you're not going to do it in free, you have to do it in the draft. And I wouldn't be opposed to go, lineman, wide receiver in the first 3 picks in any order, as long as you get guys that you can start right away, and then if we have that extra 3rd round pick too, you can still probably get a corner in there that can play up and down the lineup. It doesn't have to start right away. I also read, Ryan, too, that there's talk that they might bring back Levi Wallace, not as an outside corner, but as a slot corner.
Yeah,
a lot better than I'd like
I'd
him
be
in the
okay.
slot more than on the outside.
I just
We
know
saw
that
what happened when we played outside.
I know he was so ready to get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
I don't know if I trust his abilities at this point, but if he comes back, there's definitely worse situations we could be in.
Yeah.
But I just know he was ready to get out, and he was
Yeah.
kind of fed up with all the drama and things go on.
Maybe all the drama's cleaned up, and he,
Also, Mike, you got to
back.
think the problem was last year not the defense. The defense did they went above and beyond. They kept the Steelers in all those football games, and basically we won them because the defense was stout and they would do their job when need be. So the offense, I think, it would be a crime if we don't go out and get these guys that we need, these linemen, of course, the receiver. And if we come back in a worse position that we were in at those particular positions, I think that's going to be pretty bad. So you got to think the draft is going to be line heavy. You got to think that they're going to be touching on the receivers again. I don't know what kind of strategy the guy has. Omar Khan has, a dozen picks in his back pocket. He has, some receivers that he brought in who were, not exactly what we're looking for, but he does have things that he could use in leverage. And I hope to see maybe he might do something in the draft to move up, move down, move around, whatever he had to do to get these guys that he needs. Because I just don't think you could come back into this season with those same issues that you had leaving the season.
Yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to them. Ron. My goodness, Ron.
Oh, thanks, Ron. Greatly appreciated, sir.
Wait, what happened?
I don't know, but it says something about you, Derpy, so I'm going to pay attention.
Appreciate it, Ron. Oh, my God.
Also, my DJ, Deontay Johnson, takes a stab at the fans. Which I think that this is more comical than anything.
Yeah.
I did not see this.
No, it's people, everyone's got to chime in and have something to say. And, it's not just him, it's everybody. But Deontay Johnson said, in quote, Pittsburgh fans need to get a life. We need to get a life. We're having an opinion of the team that we watched our whole lives that he played for a short period of time here in Pittsburgh. We're just to move on, not say anything, not have an opinion. We're just supposed to go get a life, but we're still supposed to pay his salary. But get a life. Don't have any opinion on what these guys in the NFL who are walking past live fumbles, who are anything that you could say. We're not supposed to have an opinion. Deontay Johnson says, Mike, that we should all just get a life. What do you think?
Oh, Deontay, never change. Never change.
Right.
Like he's becoming the wish, he's the wish version of Antonio Brown.
Yeah.
He doesn't have the CTE, but he's just like acting like he does with his comments sometimes. Because then he'll say stuff like that, but then sometimes he'll be like, "Oh man, I love my fans." I'm like,
right.
Deontay, can you pick a lane today?
One of the things I didn't like about him on social media, on Twitter, for example,
you block everyone.
You can't. You can't comment. He blocks the comments. You can like it if you want, if you like what he has to say, but you can't say anything bad about him. Oh, I see what it is. Derpy's a malnutrition panda. Derpy, you do look awfully skinny with that.
You're so underfed. Ron has to donate to us so we can feed you.
And I want to know what the hell it is you do the whole time, because I think as Derpy moves, that thing moves with him.
I know, because he's like,
his head's always up here, and he's talking, and his mouth is moving, and his arms are swinging. I'd like to know what the hell you're doing during the course of this show, Derpy, because you're certainly not sitting still. That thing that I see, that panda, it's moving constantly.
Derpy just goes, we.
One more thing about Justin Fields, guys, his similarities to Mitch Trubisky when leaving Chicago, guys. Here they are, a few of them. He was a top 12 pick. He had 0 playoff wins. He had 0 wins at Lambeau Field, and he's leaving for a backup job. Mike, is it safe to say that we should feel more comfortable with receiving Justin Fields than Mitch Trubisky?
I hope so, because I think there's more there to work with than there was with Mitch. I think by the time Mitch left, that Chicago
at least Fields will make a play out of something.
Yeah, Mitch looked like a beat down, defeated guy when he left. Whereas Field looks ready for a fresh opportunity.
I think Mitch is just ugly, Mike. He has a face.
It could be from one ugly guy to another. I think Mitch, but he just looked like defeated when he left Chicago. Whereas Field looks like he kind of at the end of last year started to put some, good numbers on him, and that one receiver had a good connection. He was playing well. Now he's going to another place to try again. He looks more energized, more refreshed than Mitch did when Trubisky left.
All I got to say is at the end of the day, you take all these numbers, you throw them out there, you create negatives, you create pros, cons, whatever. He has more rushing yards than Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
He has more rushing yards than Jalen Hurts. He has more rushing yards than Josh Allen. At the end of the day, that's what it's boiling down to with me. He has to learn to be more effective.
He needs a mentor.
Yes, he's Cordell Stewart right now as we speak. I think that whether they use him as a slash, I don't know. But he has that ability, and he can improve and become a better passer as Cordell did over time. Hopefully this is what we see from him because, again, at Russell Wilson's age, who knows how long.
Like Ron said, the way things go, you never know. He could be starting by week 5.
He could be starting by the second snap of week 1.
Yeah, you're going to have an Aaron Rodgers situation.
Right.
And, he said when he was coming out of college, he modeled his game after Russell Wilson. So now he's getting a chance to work behind him. So I almost guarantee he's going to be picking his brain once those two start getting to work together. And that new quarterback coach we had that came from San Diego had to work with Justin Herbert. So I feel like Fields is going to come into a nice situation.
I hope you're right.
Like Tomlin said, there's still a lot of meat left on that bone. And for Fields is 24. He's the same age as a lot of these quarterbacks coming out now.
It's so weird.
Years of NFL experience. So we'll see how it goes.
On our team is either 22 to 24 or 33 to 38.
Yeah.
There's nobody in the middle.
No, we have there's no middle age. No, that middle demographics missing from this team.
Mike, one more thing about the Steelers, then we must move on. This is the Steelers have the third. Get this, guys. This is very interesting. It's good to know. The Steelers have the third strongest schedule this year by paper, by numbers. Let me kind of give you a rundown. The team with the strongest schedule this year is the Cleveland Browns. The team with the second strongest schedule is the Baltimore Ravens. And the team with the third strongest schedule is the Steelers. So what's this tell me? The AFC North is considered to be very, very strong because this is who these three teams have in common more often than any other team. Yes, they do all play the NFC, the East.
Mm-hmm.
They both also play the AFC West. It's going to be tough games in both of them.
Yeah.
But to know that you have to face the Ravens or the Steelers or the Browns, two different times,
Yep.
So we are number 3. We have the third toughest schedule in the NFL. And here's one for you, Mike. The Cincinnati Bengals, they fall to 16. They have the 16th toughest. But you get that last place schedule.
Yeah.
You're getting a lot of last place teams.
And remember last year, towards the end of the year, based on the winning percentage of the current season, we had the strongest schedule.
Yeah.
Heading down the stretch. So nothing new for this team.
So the schedule that we got, the teams we play collectively last season had a 533 winning percentage, 53%. They had a record of 154 and 135. Games versus teams with 500 winning percentages. Okay. Hold on. So games with teams versus teams with 500% winning percentage in 2023, we faced 10 of them. And then teams that were our playoff teams in 2023, we faced 7 of them. So 7 of our opponents this year were in the playoffs last year. And so Mike, it's just going to be another day at the office. You just got to go out there, play football. We're not given the easy path. We're not being given anything. You just got to go out there, win the division games as we did last year. Of course, we improved, but also these other teams improved as well. You bring in guys like Derrick Henry. He's a game changer. The Browns are adding a lot of guys here and there, but they are the Browns. And at the end of the day, Cincinnati, who knows what you're going to get if Joe Burrow's healthy this time around. And again, as we mentioned, Mike, the NFC East and the AFC West aren't going to be easy either. It's going to be a lot of good football games this year. And I hope the moves that we made are going to keep us right in everything.
I hope so too. Excuse me. Hopefully, some of these teams that are supposed to be really good have down years and we can take advantage of that.
Right.
Ease up that schedule because we had some teams that were supposed to be bad last year and they turned out to be pretty good.
Absolutely. Mike, let's talk about the Penguins for a moment. Penguins back in action. Now here, Mike, this team, they're making me nuts. Let me tell you.
I know.
This team lost to everybody. Then you get this super team that comes to town who has a newly acquired Jake Guentzel. Yeah, they have a future Hall of Famer, Brett Burns. They have Jordan Stahl. They have Capitals great, longtime great Kuznetsov. I'm thinking there's no way we don't stand a chance against the Hurricanes. Mike, we come out, we beat the Hurricanes 4-1.
What is this Penguins team?
What's going on?
I have no idea. One big thing from that game is, we had a call up we called up a couple young guys, and they actually were able to play on a fourth line, and we were able to rotate four lines throughout the game. We had an effective fourth line for a change. That was a big jump right there. Sullivan even said, "Oh, these guys brought an edge. They brought some emotion to the team." This is why you played the young guys, Sully. You saw what happened on your first cup run when you had Connor, Sherry, and Russ when they were all young. We could have done this months ago, but you refused to play them. That helped too. And I thought we were going to lose. Every time we play Carolina, it's a tough win for us for the past 5-6 years, it feels like. So I'm surprised we won. It was nice to see, but too little, too late. But, Sid had another good game. He's on pace to finish with 88 points.
He did. He has scored 7 points in the last 2 games.
Yeah, he's on
That's
fire.
Crazy. He's going off.
He's been like this all year long too.
I'm just wondering if they played off emotion because this is the kind of game the Steelers win, or this is the kind of game the Penguins win.
Yeah,
the Pittsburgh teams do that. They win emotional games and in all their sports, and then they lose to teams like Columbus, which is the next team that they have on the schedule. Guys, tomorrow they're back in action at 7:00. They host the Columbus Blue Jackets.
Yeah.
We'll see if they can keep this going, Mike. They did pop their head back up above 500. They're now 31-30-10. Not much time. They got 71 in. They got 11 more.
11 more to go. Are they down? Are they still 82 or 80? I always forget now.
I don't know. I thought they were 82.
I can't remember. I just want the season to end because this team is frustrating this year. But hey, you know what? Hey, nice. Jake Guentzel had a nice reception from the crowd. Nice little tribute video. That was nice to see.
They love him.
Well, not now after the game because he was like, "Hey, I wanted to stay, but they thought, to go a different direction." Now everyone's like, "Oh, this team sucks. They should have kept him."
All right.
But hey, you never know what kind of contract he wanted, guys.
Pirates opening day tomorrow. I was going to go through the lineup and that today, but we'll do it. I mean, tomorrow's actually opening day. Pirates will be kicking off their season tomorrow in Miami against the Marlins, guys. 4:10's the start. Pirates have been named the number 3 top bullpen in all the majors. O'Neal Cruz, get this, guys. O'Neal Cruz hit 4 home runs. He hit 7 home runs in spring training, but he hit 4 of them that were 110 miles per hour plus. Cleveland Guardians hit 3 all last season as a team. The Guardians hit 3 home runs that were 110 miles plus. O'Neal Cruz already hit 4 in preseason alone.
Hopefully, carry that over to the regular season, man. I want to see like 35 homers out of O'Neal Cruz this year. I know that's a high number, but I want to see it.
He's got to stay healthy, though.
I know.
And that's been your problem.
Well, he had 1 injury. I mean, the thing is, he's not injury prone. He broke his ankle and sliding into a guy at home plate in the early part of the season. So to call him injury prone at this point, I think is a little premature. We'll keep our eye on him. Certainly, he's going to be the big star. Him and Henry Davis moving forward into this season. We will keep a close eye on him. Mike, who do you think wins this division? You got the Pirates, the Cardinals, the Brewers, the Cubbies, and who am I forgetting?
Reds.
In the Reds. Who wins this division?
I'm going to go with the Brew Crew, but I can't believe I'm going to say this. I feel dirty. I look for the Buccos to finish second.
All right. I think the Pirates got as good a chance this year as they've had in the past 10 years since they were good last. I think they should be okay. You got to get into that. You got to get into that race.
Yeah.
It's always, as we say, Mike, there's always that one other team. It's never clear cut. You never just win the division. If we could get in there with Milwaukee and kind of have that up and down, that that leapfrogging each other, going up and down and passing each other. I think that's how you have the best chance of winning the division.
Yeah.
You have St. Louis; they're still terrible. You've seen their very, very
anemic
I'd
offense.
say
anemic offense that bled over from last season in the spring training. And these other teams, I mean, the Reds, they don't seem they're going to be competitive as they always are, but I don't know. Maybe, just maybe the Pirates might be in the hunt, guys. So season starts tomorrow at 4:10 in South Florida. Women's basketball, men's basketball first. Four, as I mentioned the other day, there's 4 ACC teams left. The games start tomorrow. They go Thursday through Sunday. We'll break down after Thursday and Friday. You get down to the Elite Eight, and then through the weekend, you get down to the Final Four. So that's going to be exciting, Mike. That starts back up tomorrow.
Yeah,
March
I can't
Madness. Mike, there's been 44. This is the longest streak in college basketball. 44 straight years that there's been an ACC team in the Final Four, or in the Sweet 16 where we're at right now. The next closest conference, Mike, has 25.
Damn.
44 straight years. The second closest, but you got your Dukes, your North Carolinas, teams like this. One thing that a lot of people got to remember, Mike, who beat the NC State team 2 times this year? Pitt. Pitt beat them 2 times. So if that NC State ends up going all the way, which they're playing very hot right now,
yeah,
just remember who beat them twice this year. It was a team that wasn't even good enough to make the tournament. So over to women's March Madness. Mike, these teams, the odds of winning goes like this. Number 1, South Carolina, which you mentioned earlier. You felt that South Carolina has a really good chance. Number 2, who I watched the other night, I watched Iowa, Caitlin Clark. They have the second best odds of winning it all this year. LSU 3, UConn 4, Stanford, Texas, UCLA, and USC. Those are the odds, Mike. Those are your best chances of winning the women's March Madness tournament. And I do want to mention as well, guys, Duquesne's women are still alive in the NIT tournament for women. So if you you jumped on the Duquesne bandwagon, you can still root for their women that are still alive and well.
Let's go. I want some local team to do something well.
Speaking of local teams, Mike, the WPIAL was the most successful, which for going back to Ron asked the other day, for people who may not be familiar or that watch the show, WPIAL is the Western Pennsylvania Interscholastic Athletic League. And that is basically the teams that surround Pittsburgh, or the suburban areas, anything that is around Pittsburgh, with the exception of the city league that has about 8 teams, is the WPIAL. There's it breaks down into different parts across the state. Overall, it's the PIAA. It's the Pennsylvania Interscholastic Athletic Association is what governs the whole entire state. But we here right in Pittsburgh and around Pittsburgh, it's called the WPIAL, and the WPIAL was the most successful group, Mike, in this year's state tournaments for state championships. Of course, winning 4 games. Manny Christian, I'm sorry, I didn't realize they are in the WPIAL. They're included in the WPIAL.
Oh, no way.
But Aliquippa, Lincoln Park, Blackhawk girls, Monty Christian all win. And Franklin Regional was the only team that lost from the WPIAL. That makes us the most successful section in the whole entire state this year in high school basketball.
Well done.
Good for you guys. Soccer, Mike, the Riverhounds are back at it on Saturday evening, 6 p.m. They host Tampa Bay. 0-2 start, Mike. What do you think? They gonna get this win?
They're gonna, yeah. They'll get off the schneid. Get one in the W column.
They got to.
They got to. They're gonna get some points.
I think you lose some support, Mike. If this team starts 0-3, I think people are gonna be like, do I want to get on there and watch that?
They have good following, guys. I think they will, but last year it seemed like they got a huge boost in in attendance and people paying attention to it, because they had some success. It's like some of the U.S. tournaments that go through where you play MLS. They did really well in there, and they need to build on that to get more and more people eyeballs on it. Because for a while there, I love soccer, and I would and last year's when I really started to pay attention to it more and more.
Right.
I was like, oh man,
I want to pay
some pretty good teams off.
Don't get me wrong, I'm not a soccer guy. I never really was, but I want to pay attention. They're wearing my colors. It's
like it's your hometown team.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Mike, why don't you go and tell everybody about the website?
The TuneUpYinzers.com. The TuneUpYinzers.com. we got our merch store over there. We got the got Brian and I social media links over there, and we got the blog over there. And check out the analytics. More and more people are checking it out every day. I appreciate it, guys. So yeah,
Hey,
keep checking
thank
it
you
out.
so much. Greatly
Yeah,
appreciated.
this Friday I'll have another blog post up. I don't know what it's going to be about yet, but we'll be another one up.
All right, great job, Mike. Go check it out, everybody. www.the2dumbyinzers.com. That's www.the2dumbyinzers.com. A lot of cool things over there. As Mike said, go check it out, everybody. All right, guys. Question of the day. This is going to be because the Pirates are having their opener tomorrow. This is a Pittsburgh Pirates question, and it pertains to the opening game of the season. So here we go. Put your thinking caps on. Mike, Derpy, everybody on the board. Here we go. In Pittsburgh Pirates history, now you got to think they started back in 1887. The question of the day is this: in Bucks history, do they have more wins or losses on opening day? Now I'm going to make it a little bit easier for you. One of the numbers are 69 and one of the numbers are 60. 69 and 60, either one of those or their opening day wins and one of their opening day losses. Take a moment to think those over, and we will get your answer in just a moment. We're live, everybody, 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, right here every day, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And the show that we do live every day, we take and we upload that brand new show up on Spotify at 8 o'clock p.m. in podcast form. If you don't get a chance to watch this show, maybe you only have an opportunity to listen to the show. You're at the gym with your earbuds in, you're in the car, whatever the case may be. You could always go over to Spotify and catch the brand new show every day at 8 o'clock p.m. on Spotify. Check it out. All right, guys, here is the question of the day. This is because the Pirates start tomorrow. The Pirates have been around since 1887. Here's the question. In Bucks history, do they have more wins or losses on opening day? One of the numbers are 69. One of the numbers are 60. Do you think they have more wins or losses? I'm going to start with Derpy. Derpy, do you think they have more wins or losses on opening day?
I'm going to go with losses.
More losses. Is that your final answer?
Yes.
All right, I got Derpy locked into place. Mike, I'm going to come over to you.
Yes.
Since 1887, the Pittsburgh Pirates on opening day, do they have more losses or more wins? It's just one game every year. One of the numbers is 69. One of the numbers is 60. Derpy says they have more losses in that period of time. Brian on the board says they have more wins in that time. Mike, what do you think?
I'm going with more wins.
Ron also says wins. Is that going to be your final answer?
Final answer.
All right. So Derpy says they've had more losses. The guys on the board said wins. Mike says wins. I'm locking Mike in place. Here we go. Since 1887, the Pittsburgh Pirates in opening day, do they have more wins or losses? The hint I gave was one number is 69, one number is 60. A majority of the people say they won 69 openers and lost 60. Derpy, on the other hand, said they won 60 and lost 69. The answer to the question of do the Pirates have more wins or more losses on opening day is they have 69 wins and 60 losses.
Ooh.
69 wins and 60 losses. Hopefully they could make it up tomorrow. Get that win, make it 70 and 60. Seems a little bit more impressive if it was 70 and 60.
Yeah, 70. Nice round number.
Yeah, it's got to be rounded. We do want to say thank you to everybody for checking us out. We appreciate each and every one of you. We really do. We wouldn't do it without you. Very, very, very big part of what we do. And everyone on the board, we want to thank you as well. You guys will always keep it interesting. Mike, anything before we start to wrap it up?
I got nothing.
I for sure thought you were going to be excited about the McDonald's starting to sell Krispy Kreme donuts in 2026. This is what I thought you were going to talk about was donuts.
No,
I don't know why.
See that. No.
You don't like the Krispy Kremes?
No, they're overrated.
Okay. Derpy?
I got three things.
Okay.
Bucko Fever.
I'm feeling it. Bucko Fever.
And you own Columbus.
All right.
Let's get another one. And it's almost time for the draft. Let's go.
All right. So what Derpy said was Bucko Fever, pens, and almost time for the draft. I very all very exciting things. Ron on the board says, "Told you Derpy was malnourished. It affected his guess on the trivia because he was the only one that got it wrong. Brain isn't working like it's supposed to.
Nope.
Mine is. I do want to say I feel bad for the people that did lose their lives in the bridge. The bridge getting hit by the barge in Baltimore. As much as we do hate that shitty little village of Baltimore, I do want to say I do feel terrible. There were people, I think about 6 to 8 people, 6 to 8 people, I'm sorry, that did lose their lives. You never want to see that, no matter where they're from. But very, very bad situation. And to me, man, it looked like the bridge was built with popsicle sticks the way that it fell.
Yeah, like at first I saw like that little boat hit it. Then they showed the picture this morning. I saw a picture this morning of the actual size of that boat. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, no
yeah,
wonder.
Right.
No wonder. Yeah. Like,
made it sound like it was a rowboat.
It lost
yeah,
power too,
this thing is huge, man. It's like big as
It is.
like the Key building in Cleveland is like 3 feet shorter than this boat. And I saw like, okay, that explains. Ain't nothing stopping that boat except
and it has all that cargo, the weight on that thing, you know.
Like yeah.
All right. Anybody else, Mike? Anything?
I got nothing.
Now?
I got nothing. I just, Ron, thanks again, bud. Appreciate it, man.
Please, Derpy, anything else? Yes, thank you, Ron.
I got nothing.
All right, guys. Well, as we said, thank you, Ron. We will be back tomorrow to do it all over again. The Pirates do kick off their season tomorrow. We'll be talking a little bit about that and everything else Pittsburgh sports. You know that. For Mike at the Steelers Central Mobile Studio, for Derpy, myself, the Two Dime Yinzers. Everybody have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.